I said in one of my earlier vlogs that, that I get terrified and I'm a woman that hungers for change. I suppose a more accurate description would be, I hunger for growth, and I hunger to be a better version of myself, a less fearful version of myself. And as I write this next book, I know I'll be leaving the woman I was in my 30s and 40s and welcoming in and birthing the woman I am going to be in my 5th and 6th decade as I move into that. And that's normally meant the end of a husband for me, but it's really quite odd that, it's really quite nice that maybe this will be a book that I write that I'm happy to climb out of the shell of my outdated construct of what it is to be a female, because some of them are still a little bit too fearful for where I want to go in my 50s. And I've just watched Helen Mirren on 60 Minutes, and I mean, all the women that I admire in their 5th, 6th and 7th decades are women that are being fearlessly who they are. They're not frightened of aging. They're not buying into some beauty myth. As I sit here, all I can bloody see is this shiny grey hair because my colour's due. And I don't know, but I kind of don't. It's nice to just relax in it, and I see all these wrinkles, on my brow, but, I kind of like them. And I had a woman say to me, you could get a bit of Botox in that and you wouldn't have that frown because it makes you look tired and angry, Cynthia. And, sometimes I am fucking tired and angry. And you know what? So what? It's a part of the female rainbow and the male rainbow. It's just part of my truth. I don't know if I don't want to pretend anymore, I don't want to be afraid to be all of who I am. And the worst thing you can lose is self-respect. And I feel that sort of really birthing in me. And I do think as we go through rites of passage, we do birth the next incarnation of ourselves. Someone was talking about Angelina Jolie the other day. I think it was the Fashion Police, and I love Joan Rivers. She's fearlessly bitchy, and that's kind of refreshing, kind of dysfunctional, but I like that. I like both. Because there is fun. The word fun does exist in the word dysfunctional. Anyway, she was talking about Angelina Jolie and when she used to wear the vials of blood, Billy Bob Thornton, and then they were talking about the evolution of where she was then through to where she's now being, we've all probably had our little opinions about her rite of passage. But I personally look at her now and I see a woman of grace and elegance. And Jesus, I watched her in Maleficent. And I thought that was a beautiful fable about the rites of passage and the bitter dark places many of us go as women until we make peace with ourselves and we make peace with the naivety in ourselves and the fact that we've all given perhaps men way too much power that they didn't even want in the first place. And if you give it to them, it really throws everybody out of balance. And I look at how she's evolved, and she's a mother, and in the passing of her mother, she became her own matriarch. She became a maternal goddess. And I'm not sort of putting up her on any pedestal. I love Helen Mirren. I love Meryl Streep. I love Maggie Smith. I love women that when they tell you stories, Maggie Smith, you can see the story in her face. You can see every word, every life, every bit of her angerness and her bitterness and her tiredness and all of who she is. It's there. It's real. And I like my storytellers. I like them to be a bit gritty, and I like to see the passage of time on their face. Yeah, that's who I want to be when I grow up.